How's it, Drew? How you doing, man?
Yeah, good on you, man. How's Cape Town?
Right. Cape Town's chaotic as always this time of year. Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's warm. So it's been fun trying to keep up with it, but it's good. I'm like
Is it?
Dan. I'm always overdressed. I'm always underdressed either way.
Can you believe it?
And
Say Dad wears a jersey on the hottest days in South Africa, and then when it's actually cold, it doesn't bring a jersey.
No,
100%
Angelo
you get
ridicules
that.
me every single day for having a
I
jersey
sure
on.
did.
So I'm like, no, let me leave my jersey, and then it's cold.
Well, rather cold, too cold than too hot, eh?
No ways.
So if you've just joined us, this is the Coffee Chat with Dan, Dave, and Andrew. And we've got Dana Boonzaier. He'll be joining us in a few minutes' time from Bloemfontein. So if you have just joined us for the first time, it's a good opportunity for you to ask any questions around property, share stories, tag your friends in if they're interested in property. Excuse me, I've got a frog in the throat. And feel free to ask any questions. So I think, you know what, let's get straight into it because Dave, as you know, myself and Dan, and a few guys from Joburg, Miguel, Marisha, there's Dan over there. We are heading off to Bloemfontein to meet the previous and best of the year 2019 and to meet the team in Bloem, but also to find out more, what are the trends in Bloem? What's happening with interest rates? What's happening with municipality valuations in Bloem? And just to reconnect with the team in Bloemfontein. So Dave, let's bring on Dana, eh?
Yeah, 100% sounds good. Yeah, how's it, Donna?
How's it, Dave?
Right here.
Good, thanks. Can't complain. How's it, Andrew? How's it, Dan?
How's it, Donna?
Yeah,
Cool,
Drew.
Dana. So it's good to see you again. It's good to have you on the show. I'm super excited to see you and the team this week in Bloem. And now, I guess, Dana, for anyone that's new to us or to yourself, maybe give some background. Who are you? Where do you, what do you do? What's your experience in property?
All right. Yeah, I must say I'm also excited to see you guys. We're really amped and can't wait to have you guys here coming tomorrow. I'm Dana Boonzaier. I'm a property investor from Bloemfontein. As a profession, I'm a physiotherapist, but I've been investing in property since 2008. I'm very strongly invested in the student accommodation market here in Bloemfontein especially, and I have one or two properties down in Cape Town. I entered the Investor of the Year competition in 2019 and unexpectedly walked away with a prize. And that's me.
Awesome, Donna. So you say your strategy right now, it's students, eh? Just students accommodation.
Yeah, student accommodation and a lot, if you can call it that, house hacking of the student accommodation to make up for any income shortages.
100%.
Geez, that's so awesome, Donna. And yeah, I'm such a huge fan of your work. From 2019, hearing your story and all the cool things that you've done in your career thus far. For everyone watching, give us some love in the comments section down below. But the second question I think we have for you, Donna, is you've been investing for a while now in Bloem, and you also coach and have a couple of students under you. What would you say is the trend? What sort of deals works down in Bloemfontein? Is it student accommodations, like you said, or do you have students doing some awesome things as well?
I think what a person must accept is that Bloemfontein is in the rural part of South Africa. We are a farming town / city mostly, and we do have a lot of tertiary institutions. We do have the Central University of Technology and the University of the Free State, and there's a very big shortage of student accommodation in Bloemfontein. So student accommodation is a very big market, and I think that if done correctly, there's a lot of success still to be made in student accommodation, especially here in Bloemfontein, yes.
Definitely. And tell me, Donna, what's your view with interest rates these days? Because, as you know, interest rates did go up. You've been investing for a very long time. Are you nervous about interest rates? Are interest rates going to go up even more? What are your thoughts around that, eh?
I think a person must take interest rates into consideration looking back before we look forward. If you look back, you can see that the highest interest rate we've had in South Africa is 25.5%. And the average interest rate since 1998 is close to 15%. And currently we're at 9.75. So actually we are quite low. We've just come from the lowest interest rate we've ever had of 7% through the COVID-19 lockdowns. So yes, trying to get rid of the inflammatory situation which we're having in the economy, they're going to be pushing up the interest rates. We're at 9.75. I'm assuming that will go up another 75 basis points by the end of the year. So yes, we are headed up.
Okay, great. And Donna, tell me around your specific property strategy, your property portfolio. Big student accommodation. There's a lot of students coming in, going out. Talk to us about your reserve fund, and talk to us about, do you take 10% of gross rents, 20% of gross rents? How much do you put away as a reserve fund?
I think a reserve fund is extremely important. Thank goodness to my reserve fund throughout the lockdowns, especially through 2020 and 2021. I haven't had to lose any single property because of my reserve fund that I had. It's very important to have a reserve fund. Instead of having me say that I have a percentage which I cut of my income, which I keep one side, I try and aim at having a reserve fund of between 30 and 60% of my fixed income, so that I know that I can carry myself for the next 3 to 6 months with that money.
That is how much? 30 to 60%?
No, I made a mistake. Sorry. What I want to do is I want to have a reserve fund to be able to carry my fixed expenses for the next 3 to 6 months, so that money is just sitting there in a bank account and available if needed.
100%. And Don, I want to ask you more questions, which you can answer in a few minutes, about your students or their private, NASFIS. How do you handle that? But before we do that, Donna, there's quite a few people who have joined us. So, Dave, who's with us now?
We've got Christian Janssen joining us in. We got, I'm sorry, Mr. Gobo. And Andrew chat's a little quiet today. So, guys, if you are in the chat box over there, say hi. Let us know where you're joining from. If you have any questions for Donna, it's always good to ask one of the Investor of the Year awards of a few questions. Feel free to do so. That's about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And let us know if you're also doing student accommodation, or what is your strategy. But maybe just before we go back to Donna, let's chat about some events, like Dan and Dave, in terms of what's coming up this week. I know Dave's got an event this week. We've got an event this week. We're in Durban next week. So Dave, what's first?
Yeah, 100%. So, Drew, I believe you guys are off to Bloemfontein tomorrow, and Bloemfontein, we've got quite a full agenda. You're hosting a breakfast. There's a networking event in the evening. What else? Who's going to be there, Drew? When are you going through?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like Dave, what I was saying is, I'll be arriving tomorrow actually, and when I do arrive tomorrow at say 5 o'clock, I'll be meeting some of the partners. I've invited Absa and South Africa and Tough and all the guys just for a few drinks, and then the event starts. So Wednesday morning is a 7:30 breakfast. Myself, some of the partners, and anyone that wants to join us in Bloem for a breakfast, 7:30 to 9:30. And then Dave, Donna nominated 2 investors in Bloemfontein who have each done a deal in Bloemfontein that want to enter Investor of the Year. So I contacted Tando, then Absa Bank, Bloemfontein, to ask if we can use Absa's offices to watch their pitch. So because Miguel's going to be down there, I'm going to be down there, Marisha and Bruno. We're going to be judging, and Daniel, of course. Daniel, my man.
No.
I don't forget about you, don't worry. Judging for the Investor of the Year. And then probably from that, Dave, it'll be like 3 o'clock. We'll drive straight to Fatswini and Henny Attorneys. Don, I need help saying that, please. Fatswani Henny Attorneys for the main event of the day. That's a full-blown separate public event where we've got, again, Absa Bank will be in the room. Dana Boonzaier is the keynote speaker. As I told you earlier, Marisha Robus is coming up doing a talk. So is Miguel. I will be there. Daniel will be there. And we've got some local partners doing a few talks in property. So again, if you've never been to one of the events, we'll be connecting people. We'll be doing business in the room, and you'll walk away with some golden nuggets. It's a full-blown hectic event, but they're really fun and you get loads of value. So tomorrow, Wednesday, is going to be 2 busy days, and then I'm back in Joburg. And then Dave, you've got an event coming up, don't you?
100%. So next Saturday, we're hosting a breakfast again. So myself, John Vermes, and Akashni, we're going to be hosting a breakfast in Pinelands in Capetown. You're welcome to pull through. We start nice and relaxed time. We did pull a Joburg and making it at 7. So it's Saturday from 9 until about 12:30. Breakfast at a place called Roomies in Pinelands. Really fun, really just an opportunity to network We have a bit of talking that we're going to be doing this time, but we're going to try to keep it nice and informal and give you guys a lot of opportunities to network and meet the right people. That's the goal.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, Dave. And the breakfasts are a really good, chilled environment, which is nice, eh?
Yeah.
And then it's, next week we've got the Mastermind. It's the 25th of October from memory. It's the Mastermind for all the professional members out there that want to join the Mastermind. We have different breakout rooms with regards to beginners, the guys with, 2 to 4 properties, and then the more advanced investors. So if you are a professional member, make sure you do join the Mastermind. And then, Dave, I'll go to Pietermaritzburg and Durban with Dan. So, geez, I mean, I don't remember the last time I've been to Pietermaritzburg, eh? It's been a very long time, so I'm looking forward to going back. And what's going to be super exciting for the Durbanites is we're running the event at South Africa. So, Dave, as you know, we ran an event at South Africa here in Greenstone, massive success, great turnout, lots of networking, lots of business was done. So, myself, Dan, and the team will be in Durban next week, not this week, but next week. So, if you are in Durban, please let your friends know, let them know, join us on the evening of the 26th and 27th, Pietermaritzburg and the Durban. Dave will post the link for you if you want to go check out all the events and if you want to book. And if you have just joined us, which I can see a few people have, Denio and you got Tombi, good to see you. Awesome to see you in the Bloemfontein. We've got Dana Boonzaier. If anyone's got any questions around student accommodation, is it still viable? Do you go for private tenants? How does NSFAS work? If you're not sure about how far your property should be from a local university or college, now's the time to ask the expert, Dana Boonzaier. Dave, you might even have a question or two for Dana. But let's come back to Dana. So Dana, I can see Tommy there's already booked, which is great. I get the question quite often from Safford saying, Andrew, I want to do student accommodation. How far, what's the furthest away my property should be from a university or a college? What's your general answer to that?
Okay, I'm going to talk in terms of Bloemfontein. I know that the other cities might have different rules and regulations. In Bloemfontein, the student accommodation bylaw says that student accommodation should be within a radius of 5 kilometers from a tertiary institution. However, a person must take into consideration who you're providing accommodation to. You're providing accommodation to students in the age between 19 and 22. Those are not the most affluent people. Very few of them have vehicles. The ideal would be that you have a property within walking distance. For myself, I try and buy property within a kilometer radius of the tertiary institutions to ensure that I'm close enough so that they're able to get there on foot, and that they are close enough also to attend other things beyond class, social activities as well, that the university might be providing.
Okay, excellent. I mean, Dave, what's it like out there in Cape Town, eh?
So in Cape Town, the UCT's got a pretty good jamming shuttle route. So for us, it's really important to look at that and how close are you to the bus stops with that system. And again, sort of what Dana mentioned, it does also depend on who your clients are at the end of the day. So for me, private accommodations, generally I have a little more freedom and flexibility. I don't have as many regulations, whereas if I wanted to go university accredited or NSFAS, then I'd have some different regulations to sit with. But for me, private accommodation, my biggest question is how close can I get my students to the bus stops? And as long as you know where those are, which are a little hard to figure out sometimes, it's always good and easy. And that for me, at least with UCT, that's the gist of it. It's just make sure they can get there nice and easily. I've got a student who skates to campus every day uphill. I don't know how he does it.
How is it?
Yeah, as long as they can get there nice and quickly, easy, that's what they need. So
yeah, exactly. Okay, no, cool, man. And Dan, I think you had a question, didn't you?
Yeah, so for Dana, yeah, that's hectic, Dave, your side. But yeah, back to Dana. I wanted to find out with regards to student accommodations. Normally that it's about 10 months that you would be having the students living in the units. What's your plan for the rest of the 2 months, like you personally? Is there anything you do to budget for the 2 months, or is that where your reserve fund comes in to make sure the shortfalls are covered?
When I do my my calculation to see whether a property is viable or not for student accommodation, I already have a vacancy loss automatically worked in of 16%. So I really don't take into account that I won't have income for 2 months. I use those 2 months mostly to make sure that my maintenance and everything of the property is up to date. However, if needed, yes, that is where my vacancy fund, my reserve fund comes into place and does cover if needed.
Awesome. Yeah, that does make sense. I think follow-up question, with regards to your private students, what safety measures do you implement? Say for whatever reason the rent doesn't come, or the accommodation does not come through. Like, what measures do you have to ensure that you still collect the rent? Because, like you said, you are dealing with young students, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and what do you normally do to,
protect?
It's a difficult situation, seeing as though that most of my students are NSFAS students and my properties are all NSFAS accredited. The person, when they apply to accommodation, they must prove that they've applied for NSFAS, and within a certain time period, they have to prove that they've been NSFAS approved to ensure that money does come. This year, however, especially at the University of the Free State, the accreditation only came through in May, and the last time we had any income was in November of last year. So for almost 6 months, you had to carry the students. And in that time period, I tried to ask the guys to at least help me pay roughly 50% of the rental to try and cover utilities like water, lights, Wi-Fi, and armed response to ensure that they're all right. And not everyone was able to pay, but those who could did pay, and they were reimbursed. All the money that they paid towards the accommodation in those 6 months was paid back to them.
Geez, very thoughtful from you, man. Geez, hectic as well. 6 months.
Yeah, geez, that's good, eh? Donna, another good question here is, are there still good deals in Bloemfontein? And if there are good deals, where do we find these deals? And, it's one thing having the right strategy and having the bond affordability and the cash, but where do we find good deals in Bloemfontein? Are you finding them? Are they repossessed properties? Are they general properties on the open market? Are they auction properties? Where have you found your properties?
I personally have a feeling that property investment and the property market is much like vehicles in a busy street. There will always be a next one, but you have to be out looking for it. I also strongly believe in the 110-3-1 rule, which means that you have to look at roughly 100 properties where you are able to make offers on 10, of which only 3 of those offers are accepted. And of those 3 that you submit to the banks, you maybe get 1 financed. So my important feeling is that you must keep looking. You must be continuing the market. If you are looking for 100 properties in your target market, eventually you do have to find the right one, because you do become, you start getting a great understanding for the target market and the investment that you want. So you see the good deals immediately. What I have, however, seen, I also attend the Sheriff auctions here in Bloemfontein, and I get all the feedback from Sheriff HQ that there's definitely an increase in the amount of auctions which are repossessed by the banks and other financiers. So if you're willing and you have the cash, I do think a very good place to go and look for good deals would be at the Sheriff auctions.
Definitely, Donna. And I was speaking to the guys this side of town as well. And we're already seeing a big increase. Interest rates going up, buyers getting worried about buying, sellers getting worried, affordability issues, more properties go in the market. It becomes a buyer's and investors market. I don't think we've seen that yet, but it's definitely starting to happen. So unfortunately, it's a great opportunity for property investors. Just make sure you do run your numbers, because, the $1 million question is, Donna, interest rates. What are they going up to? Some people are telling me 11.25. Some are saying, Andrew, they could go to 13, 14. What would your guess be?
Before I answer that fully, an interesting point is that, I don't know if you guys noticed, Nigeria's interest rate went up about 2 weeks ago to 15.5%. So as far as what Africa goes, I think we're still all right.
Yeah.
I've spoken to a few guys from the banks. To stress test investments and properties that are being bought, they are using anything between 2 and 4% on the current interest rate to test whether there's safety in the numbers. And if a person goes on that, I think we can look at maybe ending close to 13.5%, 14%. If we go that way, I do not know. I can't predict the future. But I do think that if that's what the banks are aiming at, that's quite a good indication of where we could be ending.
And that is 14%, you said, eh? Did I hear you correct?
Yeah, roughly there.
Yeah. And I think that's what Miguel's working his numbers on, and he'll also be there Wednesday night. So it'll be a great conversation, eh? Because imagine people, if you think of people that bought their property this year, beginning of this year, last year, at say, or even say last year, 7% interest rates, or 8%, and now it's going to be double that. That's a big increase, eh?
It's a very big increase. I've had quite a few people approach me already asking me what they should do. They can't afford it. I feel very sorry. I think there's going to be blood on the streets if we don't if we don't watch out for what's coming.
And this is where you'll find that the installment sale agreement as a strategy is going to become more and more common. I spoke to an attorney. He must be 65 years old. He's been an attorney his whole life. He's done hundreds of installment sale agreements. And he said, Andrew, when interest rates start going up and people get squeezed and there's not much equity, but the house can be converted or changed, he said, mark my words, installment sale agreements will become more and more common, which I believe so, because these guys won't have much equity in the properties because they only would have owned them for a year or two. But if the properties, is one like that St. Margaret's one, we can change and adapt it. As investors, we can take control over the asset and sweat that asset. But that's where you need to get the right education, understand what you're doing in that.
Exactly.
Daniel, you had a question for Dana, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Dana, with regards to Bloemfontein, how does the municipal valuations look like in that side of town?
I know that there are quite a few people who are upset about the municipal valuations. Firstly, we must realize that the legislation was passed for municipal valuations to ensure that municipalities get greater income. But for that income, they still have services which they deliver. And I think you guys will see when you arrive here tomorrow that services in Bloemfontein aren't what they should be. So a lot of people are very upset having to pay their rates and taxes and not getting the services which they're paying for. And I do know that a lot of people have been complaining and have made objection to the values which the municipalities have made for the values. So we'll have to see what happens. I know that the municipal valuations, you had time until I think it was July to object to the value which they gave your property. And so the new municipal valuations have set in and we're paying our rates and taxes accordingly.
Cool. So you happy with the second piece of valuations as well, right?
Yeah, for now I'm happy with my properties. I can't complain. I'm just not happy that I'm not getting services.
Yeah. Join the club, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, it's intense.
So what's it like in Durban without water?
What's it like in Durban?
Without water.
Yeah, that's bad, eh? I mean, we sat here so much because we got no Wi-Fi in the whole area, and we've had no Wi-Fi for days. And there's no sign of the Wi-Fi in the area coming on. But hey, if you want to live in South Africa, we're going to accept this, eh?
Yeah. And I can only imagine what my students will be like without Wi-Fi.
Working
yeah, like how boring would that be?
Imagine, right? Like you always want to be kept up on your feet.
Yeah, exactly. Moving shaky. Dave, what's like in Cape Town?
I don't know. We have less load shedding than you. We have water, electricity.
Look at that. What sort of life is that? Spoiled, dude. Like I woke up Saturday, no power, not load shedding, but they were digging and like it burst the cable, so I didn't have power yesterday, Saturday, and he came up back this morning.
Oh, really? So,
yeah, man, it's interesting, right?
You just deal with it, right? Okay, cool. Let's see what else has come in. Because maybe what we'll do is a quick recap of this weekend next week for the guys that did just join us. And then Dana will be seeing you tomorrow. So we'll start with that then. I'm driving down to Bloem tomorrow. Bruno Samau from BSA Attorneys is joining us as well, by the way. Daniel and Miguel and Marisha, the whole team's coming down. And we're going to be meeting our partners tomorrow night. And we're going to breakfast Wednesday morning, followed by Investor of the Year judging. The very first judging for Investor of the Year 2023, followed by the main events at Libo van Aswegen Attorneys for 20 attorneys, someone putting me off in the background there. And then we got a ton event on Saturday. That's in Pinelands, Dave?
Yeah, Pinelands, we get to nice and central, so it's easy for everyone to access. I don't want to hear that's too far from you. It is in the middle of Cape Town as I can get it.
Nice and central.
As close as you can get. But it's always
Nice, cool, man. And then we've got, I see Christian Jansen saying, some FOMO, I wish I could join the trip. Can't believe it's been 2 years since I last saw you, Dana. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, well, I guess that's what COVID did, but that's why the roadshow is going to be so cool, because we're going around the country, just reconnecting, networking, and getting the engine up and running again. And then for Durban, Pietermaritzburg, the KZN area, next week, myself and the team will be there from the 26th and the 27th. Just don't forget about the 25th of October. If you're a professional member, we've got the mastermind happening on the 25th of October. And I think, Donna, I'm going to ask you if you want to, what's one last piece of advice you'd give to all beginner investors out there wanting to enter into whether it's the Bloemfontein market or the South African market? What's one piece of advice you'd like to leave them? And Donna, if you were talking to somebody that wanted to enter the Investor of the Year, but they're feeling nervous or scared, what would you say to them?
Okay, to the guys wanting to get into the market, I think the wisest thing you could do is join SAPN or something like that, a network where you can get to know people who are like-minded, who are doing this stuff already, where you can learn from. Education is the most important thing when it comes to property investment. And it's just a lot easier when you're surrounded by people who have gone through the education and gone through the investment, and you can learn from them and tap off them. And then as far as what the guys thinking or considering entering the Investor of the Year, don't think about it, just go for it. We aren't there to judge you as a person. We're not there actually even to judge your investment. We just want to see what you like. And it's all about getting exposure to property investment in South Africa. The more people know about property investment, the better South Africa is going to be. And the wiser will be around the economy and money in general. So please enter, go ahead. We're not there judging you as a person. We just want to look at your property investment and your deals.
Definitely, Donna. And Donna, thank you for your time again. It's always a pleasure having you on with us.
Thanks,
Donna. It was great meeting. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dave.
Awesome. Cheers, Donna.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See what happens when everyone's a tech guy.
Oh, crazy. So hopefully this time, Dave, there's going to be a winner from Joburg. We've had Cape Town twice,
Cape Town twice. Well, we can't Robin Booth as part of Cape Town, but yeah. I think Robin Booth counts himself as a citizen of the world, but we will.
Yeah, he's actually like Cape Town. He's everywhere. He's global. And then Dana Boonzaier, and then we had Darren. So we got someone from Joburg, But let's see.
I'm saying there's so many good deals in Joburg.
Oh no, there are so many, but yet no one wins them.
No, because of all the issues we're facing. You see, we have load shedding.
We have challenges, Dave.
Yeah, man, you guys have it easy.
Adversity builds. Yeah, but that's the exact thing. You guys are supposed to embrace that. Adversity builds character. It makes you guys stronger, better.
Exactly. So Christian Jansen, we've got to find some Joburg Pretoria investors, I can see that Stephen. We'll see you Wednesday as well. We'll see if there's any more Bloem investors. And then, okay, cool. So Sophia is asking a question there about the roadshow. Sophia, it'll be good to see you in Cape Town. So yes, there's an event this Saturday, which is not technically part of the roadshow. It's Dave's breakfast with Akashni and John. And then Dave, I'm coming out to Bloemfontein. I'm flying out. I think it's the 7th of October. And the event's the 9th, not October, November. The event, Sophia, is the 9th of November. That's the actual main event in Cape Town. So that week, just be available. Sophia, it'll be good to meet you and to sit down with you and talk about your property journey. Dave, have I got the dates right there?
Yeah, November 9th for Cape Town networking events. 6:30. At the moment, the current plan is it's going to be in Woodstock. We did that venue for Woodstock, and that's which confirming this week. So Sophia, this Saturday we're in Pinelands, nice and easy and accessible, and then for the 9th of November we're in Woodstock.
Awesome, sounds good. So Sophia, there's the information. That's what you need. Sophia's already booked for the 9th of November. Fantastic. You'll see myself and Dan and Dave and the whole team there, which will be great. It's going to be a busy few months, but a good few months. And so, Dave, when I do come to Cape Town, let's do some Investor of the Year judging. So keep your eyes and ears out for some of your students, your colleagues, anyone that's done a deal. Christian Janssen, can you keep an eye out for anyone that's done deals in Joburg? Let's do some pitching here in Pretoria, Joburg. And that's it, eh? Is anything else from your side, Dan?
All good my side. I'm guessing something to leave the people with.
Yeah.
So just like Dana said, make sure that you're part of a network, understand what you're doing. And for my 2 cents is there's never going to be the perfect time to buy. You definitely need to, going on in the market, understand how to put risks measures in place and take action. That would be my last piece of advice.
Just get started, because I mean, Dave, the common question you get and I get is, when's the best time to invest?
Yeah, definitely.
5 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. You missed it.
Don't buy anymore now.
Oh, jeez. Cool, guys. So if there's no more questions, Christian will definitely keep an eye out. Thanks for that, Christian. It's great. Sophia, you too. If you know of anyone that's done deals, let us know. And then, yeah, Dave, we'll see you next week. Cape Town breakfast, eh?
Yeah, thanks. Cape Town breakfast is going to be good. We'll see you all there on Saturday. And yeah, we'll check it next week, guys. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks.